Meat, Memory, and Mercy, a diabetic's second chance. The fork trembled in his hand. Not from age, although at 72, time had certainly left its fingerprints, but from something deeper, something darker. Fear. Frank Delaney had spent a lifetime building things. A business, a family, a reputation. He could fix a furnace with one hand and calm a barking dog with the other. But nothing he built, nothing he mastered, could stop the quiet killer that crept through his veins now. Type 2 diabetes. He hadn't even felt it arrive. Like most tragedies, it started in whispers. A little more thirst, a little less sleep, a few dizzy spells after lunch. But then came the collapse. In aisle 3 of the grocery store, a jar of olives shattered on the floor. So did his pride. And now, at his kitchen table, his doctor's words still echoed. You need to change how you eat, or we'll be talking about more than insulin. Frank looked down at his plate. Grilled salmon, sautéed spinach, a wedge of lemon. Not a carb in sight. It wasn't punishment. It was a lifeline. But it would take time for him to see it that way. Let me tell you what he learned, and how 7 simple proteins helped him fight for his health, his memory, and his second chance. 1. Salmon, the fish that fights back. It was his daughter who brought it over. Dad, just try it. It's wild caught, full of omega-3s. It'll help with inflammation and your heart. Frank had never been a fish guy, but that night he tasted it. Tender, buttery, clean. And something shifted. Salmon was more than a meal. It was medicine. High in protein, 0 carbs, and full of omega-3s, it soothed the inflammation in his joints, steadied his blood pressure, and gave his foggy mind a little more clarity. He added it to his weekly rotation. Baked, grilled, poached, it didn't matter. What mattered was that it made him feel human again. 2. Chicken breast, the soldier's meal. Frank remembered eating fried chicken with his buddies during the war. Greasy, spicy, glorious. But now, it was different. His granddaughter, a nutritionist, taught him to season skinless chicken breast with herbs and paprika, grill it without oil, and serve it with roasted vegetables. At first, he missed the crunch, but then he noticed something better. No more blood sugar spikes. No more dizzy spells after dinner. Just steady energy. Chicken became his go-to protein. Lean, versatile, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and full of the quiet strength he once had in his 20s. 3. Turkey, the forgotten hero. Thanksgiving had always been his favorite holiday. But now, turkey wasn't just a once-a-year treat. It was a weekly weapon against the chaos in his bloodstream. He discovered ground turkey sautéed with garlic and spinach, roast turkey breast with mustard glaze, and turkey chili with black beans. Low in fat, high in protein, turkey helped him feel full without rising his glucose. And maybe, just maybe, it reminded him that some traditions are worth reviving. Not just for the taste, but for the healing. 4. Grass-fed beef, the comeback king. Red meat had been the villain for decades. But not this, his granddaughter said, placing a portion of grass-fed sirloin on his plate. Lean, no hormones, higher in omega-3s than regular beef, and rich in iron and B12. You need that, Grandpa. He chewed slowly. Tender, flavorful, honest. Grass-fed beef, in moderation, became a staple again. It supported his muscles, it revived his strength, it helped his fatigue fade just a little. He hadn't felt that kind of power since before the diagnosis. 5. Sardines, the underdog superfood. He wrinkled his nose when she offered the can. Sardines? Trust me, she smiled. Packed in olive oil, tossed over a salad, they were surprisingly addictive. Tiny fish, zero carbs, packed with omega-3s, calcium and vitamin D, all of which helped regulate his blood sugar and protect his heart. Plus, they were cheap, easy to store, no prep needed. He kept a few cans in his truck, just in case. When life felt unstable, sardines reminded him that strength can come in small packages. 6. Eggs. The sunrise reset. There was a time he'd start the day with pancakes and syrup. Sweet, comforting, deadly. Now, his mornings began with 2 soft-boiled eggs, a pinch of sea salt, a side of arugula. Simple, powerful. Eggs were low in carbs, high in protein, and loaded with choline, which helped his focus. They gave him routine, stability, and something even more precious, clarity. Each bite was like a quiet declaration. You are not what the disease says you are. 7. Shrimp, the luxury that saves. He'd always thought of shrimp as fancy restaurant food, a luxury, until he realized they were one of the best meats for diabetics. Low in fat, zero carbs, high in protein. And when pan-seared with garlic and olive oil, they tasted like celebration. Shrimp didn't just feed him. They reminded him that this journey wasn't about restriction. It was about choosing better pleasures. A second life at the table. Frank's journey wasn't dramatic, not at first. No miracle transformations, no overnight victories, just quiet choices. Choosing grilled salmon over white bread, choosing eggs over syrup, choosing himself, one meal at a time. Over the next few months, his blood sugar stabilized, his weight dropped, his energy came back. And one morning he looked in the mirror and didn't see a patient. He saw a man, a fighter, a grandfather who still had things to teach. Final reflections. Diabetes had stolen a lot from Frank, but it also gave him something most men never get, a second chance. And it started with understanding that not all meat is bad. In fact, the right meats are weapons of healing. To those fighting the same battle, he'd say this: you don't need magic, you need protein, you need peace, and you need a plate that won't betray you. Because sometimes the most powerful medicine isn't found in a vial, it's grilled, served warm, and eaten with gratitude.